Pep Talk UK. It's time!
Oi, oi! Welcome to the Pep Talk UK Sports Podcast, the podcast that talks the major football and boxing news from around the globe. Real points of view from a real panel. Hashtag Real Talk and Pep Talk. I'm your host Frankie B, and I'm joined by a special panel today. Firstly, from the beautiful capital of France, Paris, Pascal, how are ya?
Bonjour Frankie B, comment ça va mon ami?
All good, mate. You know my French is quite weak, so I'll just say all good.
No, but Frankie, we've been friends for some time, you know, you should know at least some French words.
I need to brush up. I must admit, I need to brush up on my French, mate.
Well, at least c'est bonjour.
Bonjour, Frankie B.
Bonjour. It's Pascal in the building, the bad map of Paris. Pleased to be back for another week of exciting football and boxing talk.
Wicked. Now I'm going to introduce another part of the Pep Talk UK team, Mike H.
Bow to the masters.
How you doing, Gee?
Thank you for that introduction. I'm good, man. Thank you for the introduction. How are you?
I'm good. You know, I almost called you Triple H by mistake. I know you're trying to get those muscles in the gym like that, you know.
Working hard. Still been discussing with Linus about push-ups. We'll get there.
That's it.
Give me some time, and then you can give me a couple of months. You can call me Triple H.
That's going on Twitter straight away. Triple H, the game.
Yeah,
now,
mate.
making another appearance on the show, can we welcome Pep Talk UK sponsored boxing prospect Linus Udofia. Linus, how you doing, geez?
Yo, Frankie B, what's happening?
All good, mate. How's things? How's training?
You know me, man. Work hard, eat clean. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Always putting in work. Just letting the hands talk. Really, you know how it is.
What? So no pie and chips?
Nah, none of that, man. You know me, man. you know. I don't really do none of that. That's all for after the fight, anyway. But yeah, it's just head down and just staying away from injuries at the moment. Training camp's it's kind of been 100% since about 6 weeks out, and we haven't really sat back. Really, we've been all out. You know what I mean? Like, we've just been all out, no matter what it is. We're just all out at the minute. And to be fair, I've never felt fitter than this for a fight in my life. If I'm honest with you.
So basically, you're war ready.
Oh, listen, I could walk into the ring tomorrow. I'm so ready ain't the word. I'm ready to go, man. Even though I just said it ain't the word, but you know what I mean.
So do you want to tell the listeners about your fight on the 29th of October at York Hall?
Yeah, 29th of October, York Hall. The show starts at around, I think the doors open at 2 and the boxing starts at 3. It's an early card, but I think it's got a lot of fights. There's a lot of fights on the card. You contact me through my social medias, Facebook, Linus Conan Udofia, Instagram, Boxer Linus Udofia, and Twitter, Linus_Boxer. And you just contact me on those for tickets, or go on www.iboxingtickets/Linus Udofia. That's really all the information you need, really. It's a 4-rounder, this one. And we've been training for 12 rounds anyway, but it's just this should be another good learning fight. Like I said, I always want the hardest opponents, and my management has made sure of that. And this guy, he's not really a joke. He's here to win. So I've got to be on my game. It ain't gonna be a walk in the park for me. I've got to earn my record. So It's time to go.
Cool, great. Now, finally, I'd like to introduce a man appearing for the first time on the show. Can we welcome, for the first time, boxing coach from the Seven Wolves platform? It's Terry. How you doing, mate?
Hey, how you doing? You alright?
Oh, good, mate. Seba?
Ah, c'est bien. Oui.
See, this guy's good, Pascal, this guy's good. Really.
Oh, super, francophile.
You know, Pascal. It's 4 SBM albums. That's all I listen to now when I'm training. Are you a fan?
Oh, j'adore SPM, c'est bien, c'est super. But you know, I give you some very, very good hip hop, Mr. Terry. You have to listen to Caris, Booba, Kalash Criminel. You know, these are all the guys of the Paris region. You will love it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll send you some mixtapes, Terry. Don't worry.
Merci à tous.
Bienvenue.
Haha. So, Terry, do you want to tell us about the Seven Wolves platform and how people can reach you on social media?
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, so at the heart of it, man, I'm a boxing coach. Came up through the Fitzroy Lodge amateur system, worked with a club called Double Jab. Currently looking at options. Do I go pro? Do I stay amateur? So, had my hands on a few ABA champions, ABA novice champions, a lot of London champions, and it's been a fun ride so far. So I think out of that's come the Seven Wolves. And all I wanted to do was kind of take what's in a coach's head and try and share it with the public. So, you know, sometimes you watch a fight and you want to let the fans know it's a lot more complex than, you know, one boxer hitting another. There's a lot of clever stuff that happens in there. You know, the idea that a fighter asserting control, a fighter controlling the space. How many different ways can you control the space? Because when I talk to young professionals now and I have these sorts of discussions, you know, these go on for hours and then they just say, look, you need to write this down so people can pick it up if they don't know you. So we're trying to build the Seven Wolves platform into that. But obviously things are a slow process. So look out for more over the next 6 months. It should become hopefully something educational for everyone.
Wow. All I've got to say to that is, ow!
Thank you.
Now it's time for some real talk on Pep Talk. Right, we're going to start with the boxing this week. First, I'd like to shout out Tommy Dove and Dove Box Promotions for a great night of boxing at York Hall last weekend. Tommy Dove, I'd like to also congratulate you on that great grey waistcoat, mate. Big up on the waistcoat. Swaggerific, mate. Also, I'd like to big up Dominic Akinlade on the stoppage. So, Tony Bellew, we'll start with Tony Bellew on the boxing. Tony Bellew KO'd BJ Flores in the third round at Liverpool's Echo Arena last weekend. Pascal, how did you rate Bellew's performance?
Well, Frankie B, you know, Tony Bellew, I like him very much. I felt that, you know, he was always in control of the fight. The first round, you know, Flores came quite aggressively. You know, he had a point to prove. You know, it was his third shot at the world title. And, you know, he put Tony Bellew, you know, in some, you know, frustrating circumstances, you know. So I gave the first round to Flores. But the second and third round, you know, was just a revelation for Tony Bellew. You know, he showed his quality and he controlled the fight very well. You know, particularly I didn't think it was a low blow. I felt that the punch was right on the belt. You know, and Flores should have learned that you should protect yourself at all times in boxing, you know, and he was looking for sympathy from the referee, which was a very bad move. And Tony Bellew, you know, took advantage of that and scored, you know, very good knockdown. And it was only a matter of time until Flores, you know, succumbed to the pressure of Tony Bellew, you know, the bomber as he scored. So, you know, very good stoppage. You know, I think he sent a good signal to the rest of the, you know, of the fighters in the cruiserweight division. Personally, I would like to see Bellew, you know, unify the titles. You know, he's got some very good intrinsic fights, you know, in Eastern Europe, in Lebedev and Usyk. So it would be good to see him unify the titles instead of talking about David Haye.
Now, Terry, Bellew had some choice words for David Haye after the fight, after the KO. If this fight happens, how do you think it will go?
David will smash him to pieces. Absolutely, it'll be the sort of fight that we will regret watching, if that makes sense. You know, you watch it and go, I really wish I hadn't put that fight together. David's a fully fledged heavyweight now, so he fought Macronelli, what was it, 2008, 2009? And since then, David Haye's been walking around as a heavyweight. So he has the heavyweight power. He's always had that heavyweight power. But what people don't understand, and this is from having seen David up close and seen how he spars and how he trains, he has really good ring smarts. David knows where he is in the ring. He's not like a BJ Flores who's quite limited in what he can do. David's he's clever and he's versed in a lot of the old school tactics. He doesn't show it. Well, he didn't show it for years because Adam Booth wasn't an old school type coach. But David had a lot of these things in his locker, and he hasn't had a chance to show them this year. But against someone like Bellew, David will go through the gears and, he'll annihilate Bellew, if I'm being honest with you. It wouldn't be worth watching.
So you don't think Bellew can catch David Hay with one of his bombs? No?
You see, Bellew's strength is his left hook. His left hook to the body is destructive and his left hook to the head is destructive. But if you watch how David boxes, his right hand is always up. He never gets careless with his right hand. So Bellew would have to use a lot more right hands, which would leave him open to David Hay's left hook, which is devastating too. So Bellew would be... I just don't think he could come up with a plan that David could deal with.
Okay, just staying there with you, Terry. In terms of Tyson Fury, it's official now. He's relinquished his titles. What happens now with the belts, and who do you think is going to unify the division?
So if we go back to November last year, when Fury won, and we thought all the fights we've been dreaming of for months would happen. We thought, this is the perfect chance for Wilder to jump in and take another belt. Will he fight Fury? Will he fight whoever gets the IBF belt? We were getting excited that we'd get some kind of new king of the division. But we're coming up to a year since that happened, and to be honest, we're in the same mess we were before, except we don't have Klitschko at the top. So it's annoying. I genuinely think the belts will go separate ways. I think the WBA will have Lucas Brown involved somehow. Maybe Lucas Brown versus Klitschko. The WBO will go Parker versus Ruiz Jr. or something along those lines. And people will sit on the belts and take easy defenses unless stupid money is being offered for unifications. I think we'll be here a year from now going, it wasn't worth taking the belts off Klitschko.
Linus, over to you. Do you think AJ is ready to step up the levels and unify the division?
Personally, I think, he's still, what is he, 26, 20, going on 27 now or something?
Yeah.
He's, he's still a very, very good age, but he's still very young, in a sense, boxing-wise. He's still got a lot to learn before I'd say he steps up that high, but he's already got a target on him because he's got that belt around his waist. So, and what Eddie Hearn's done really is quite smart by signing Ortiz, because everyone's absolutely avoided that guy like the plague. You know what I mean? And in my opinion, he's probably one of the best heavyweights in the world.
I agree, Linus.
Ortiz is, oh my God, he's
a problem.
Amazing.
Yeah,
he's a big problem. And Matchroom, the smartest thing they could have done was sign him. And in Joshua, them two weren't faced. Them two, it's as simple as that. We would never see that.
Do you know what? Do you know what, Linus? Like, Matchroom signing Ortiz is a bit like when Vince McMahon bought WCW. Like, just eliminate the competition.
Yeah, literally, it's really, really smart. But at the end of the day, we have the top. You know what's funny? My mate said some facts to me the other day, and he said the top 10 heavyweights haven't fought each other. And I thought to myself, you know what? That's unreal. You know what I mean? How's that possible? But it's a weird little game. But I'd love to see Andy Joshua. I'd say his biggest test was still Dillian White, and I'd love to see him still. He's a world champion now. I want to see him against big boys. I want to see what the. Don't get me wrong. We know what the hype is, but. I think he should be swimming deep now. He's got the title. If he didn't have the title, yeah, give him a couple more fights. Let him get to like 20 odd fights, 25 fights. But he's got the belt around his waist. He hasn't, his options are kind of like, you can't really, I don't want to say run away because, it's not him. I don't really think he's got a lot of options.
I agree with you, Linus. I was looking at Twitter and the blogs, and noticeably in France, in Paris, where we keep an eye on the boxing, and Eddie Hearn said he doesn't want his boxer, AJ, to be in 50-50 fights. Eddie Hearn wants to preserve his cash cow, Anthony Joshua, for a very long time. As you said, he's a young boxer, and Eddie Hearn would rather that AJ fights people, you know, that he can beat, you know, quite comfortably before cashing in, you know. Look at it as a part of life cycle, and you know, and AJ is still very much at the very beginning of that cycle, and Eddie Hearn's not going to, you know, put him in very difficult fights. I think, you know, he's going to be protected for some time. But I mean, personally, what would be an interesting fight for me, you know, in December, if the Klitschko fight is not made, it would be good to see David Haye and AJ, you know. I think that'll be a cracking fight. And Klitschko wants the WBA belt. And if he wants the WBA belt, it'd be good for Klitschko to fight also Luis Ortiz, you know, and that would create a bit of buzz in the heavyweight division, you know, that these are the fights that casual fans and boxing fans would want to see.
These are the fights, I agree with you 100%. These are the fights that should have been happening. You know, AJ, as soon as he grabbed those belts off Dillian White, I was thinking he should, you know, maybe cross the pond and, you know, bring someone down and fight Vernon Stavern. Or, you know, the likes of, you know what I mean? There's a lot of options out there. There's a lot in the heavyweight division. You know what I mean? The heavyweight division has never looked so good. And I thought, you know what I mean? Like, surely, before he gets... And don't get me wrong, Eddie Hearn, that guy, he's so smart. His timing was so perfect for Charles Martin. I couldn't, yeah, like, you know what I mean? You can't blame him for taking a chance like that, because it's right there on the plate, you know what I mean? It's,
So,
go on, sorry?
So what are you trying to say? You trying to say that Eddie Hearn's like Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, and AJ's like Virgil?
No, actually, no. AJ's the $1 Million Man, and Luis Ortiz is Virgil.
Big
Look, guys, forgive me. Like, I watched a bit of WrestleMania earlier. Forgive me. Okay, now we're going to talk about Adrien Broner, the problem. Him and Floyd Mayweather are friends again. AB's recently talked about his depression, and he's also talked about committing suicide. Pascal, what do you think about Adrien Broner? Will he ever just like be normal?
You know, Adrien Broner is, you know, I really like him. You know, he's very entertaining. You know, I don't always understand what he says, but I admire his boxing skills. He's very charismatic, you know, and in that division, in boxing, you know, it's always good to have bravado. You know, the late great Ali was very much a pioneer of this, and we miss it very much. So to see young boxers, you know, using that and you know, entertaining us is actually very good. Though in some circumstances, Broner has taken it a bit too far. But also, it's very interesting to see, you know, that there's a problem in boxing that we need to start addressing, is that of the mental state of the boxers. You know, we had Tyson Fury currently undergoing his own, you know, fighting his own demons, and we now have Adrien Broner. You know, these are men who earn millions, you know, at the very top of their game, and still they are displaying signs of you know, depression. And so it's a very, very real disease. You know, mental illness is very real. And it's important for us to be behind the boxers, you know, and they entertain us, but they are still very much human beings. But I would like to see Adrien Broner, you know, back to what he does best and going back in the ring. You know, he's not a rapper, he's not an entertainer, he's a boxer first and foremost. Boxing is what brought him where he is now, and it's good also to see that Floyd Mayweather is reaching out to, you know, fellow boxer, you know, and sees that he needs his help. So I was very pleased to see that they've reconciled, because those two were going back and forth, you know, with very petty arguments. But Broner, we want to see Broner back in the ring. We want to see Broner in exciting fights, in world title fights. And if it takes Floyd Mayweather to reach out to him, then so be it, you know. But it's good that he's still with us.
So Linus, do you think Adrien Broner can have another go in the 147 division?
Oh, big time. You know, we have to remember, we're talking Adrien Broner, you know, his loss, you know, his two big losses are, you know, very... you know, personally, a lot of people didn't like Adrien Broner. I never wanted to see him lose. I thought, you know, he is a bit, you know, brash. He's not everyone's cup of tea, but at the same time, he has an excellent skill set, and you know, he's not someone I would say to someone else to not watch. You know what I mean? To learn some things off. He's a fantastic boxer, and I really used to look up to him. And but you know, at the same time, I think, you know what, there was a lot of talk about what's his name? Oh, this is so bad. This is so bad on air. Who's that guy that gets fought in Scotland? Was it?
Ricky Burns.
Ricky Burns,
yeah, that's so bad. That's so bad. Yeah, Ricky Burns. There was a lot of talk of him going against Adrien Broner. So, I'm not really sure how, what's happened with there, what's going to happen over there, or maybe that's why Mayweather's, him and Mayweather have started, working with each other again, or what. But I still think there's a lot for him. He's still so young. There's loads for him in that division. He can do very well. I'm 100% behind that. He can do very well.
But the thing is with Adrien Broner is, he's very, very talented. He's got an excellent skill set. However, when it comes to pressure fighters, he seems to really struggle.
You have to remember, to an extent. I watched him a good few times, and with certain pressure fighters, if you're thinking, Maidana, you have to remember this is a massive.
Sean Porter,
You have to remember these guys aren't typical pressure fighters. Sean Porter will do that for days. He'll do that. He won't get tired. Maidana, he's a bigger man that will do that. Do you know what I mean? I'm not taking anything away from these guys, but these aren't. If he was going to be beaten, it was going to be by someone. Let's say, with the Sean Porter fight, I think he could have done more. I think he I'm not really sure what happened. Maybe he might have been a deer caught in headlights. Same thing as Maidana. I think he kind of realised too late that he was in real deep trouble. But at the same time, these weren't normal people that kind of put it on him. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm working with Floyd Mayweather now. Maybe his defense sharpens up and he becomes a whole new different person. Who knows? And I think there's a lot for him. There's a lot for him out there. I think you're right. Pressure fighters do make him uncomfortable, but the best will come around it.
Well, let's talk Kell Brook. He seems to be back, as he would say. I'm back, baby. So Kell Brook returns to training following eye socket surgery. Terry, what happens with Kell Brook now?
Wow. I genuinely think Kell Brook can do what he wants. He has options. I just don't see him going back to 147 to face Spence. Making weight will absolutely kill him, and Spencer's not a guy you want to be weight drained against. So definitely expect a Cotto fight next year. And if Golovkin keeps playing hardball with Canelo, expect a Canelo fight. I think Brook is bankable in the States. He's bankable here. And, Eddie Hernstall needs to make a bit more money off Kell. So I imagine you will see the names I expect to see are the likes of Miguel Cotto, Canelo Alvarez, Marquez if he moves up, Bradley if he moves up. He will fight at least two of those names in 2017, I'm sure of it.
So Linus, do you think a fight with Amir Khan will happen? Is there still a demand for this fight between him and Kell Brook?
No, I personally don't think Amir Khan will fight this guy. I'm saying that when everyone called for it, and he went and fought Chris Algieri. Chris Algieri is a very good fighter, but that was that he lost a lot of credibility doing that, and he's, and I personally didn't think he performed that well in that fight. But I agree with your man there. He'll definitely fight one of those names. I reckon for some reason I just feel like he'll fight Performnikov.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just feel that's just where I think he's gonna go, kind of getting back into. Not like he's lost any, not like he's stepped down or anything, and but I think that kind of fight would just kind of, get him. I think the Bradleys and all that. I think that's a bit not like he'd lose to any of those, but it's a bit of a step. It's a bit of a jump. It's a bit of a deep end to jump in. But I think he'd go, Pervonnikov or I don't know, Rios or something.
So Terry, if this mega fight does happen between Khan and Kell Brook, who is your money on?
It's on Kell Brook, because the problem with Amir Khan when he faces guys who can punch is it's a question of when, not if. Yeah. So
big time.
And
what's
it's
great
like
about Kell Brook?
Yeah.
Sorry.
And it's cuckoo.
Yeah.
Sleeping.
And what Brook's good at, and you saw it in the Golovkin fight, he finds that gap between the left shoulder and the chin with the straight right hand, and he always finds that gap. So what happens? The knuckles land flush on the jaw, and Khan's not going to like that.
He won't even remember it.
Okay, brilliant. Now it's interview time, guys. Our boxing correspondent Shaz Chowdhury caught up with two promising boxers who will fight for the Southern Area title. K Prosper will challenge Rakeem Noble at York Hall on Saturday the 29th of October. It promises to be a cracker. Firstly, Shaz spoke with the challenger, K Prosper.
Pep Talk UK are joined by the other half of the main event. Fighting for the Southern Area title, Mr. K, Special K Prosper. How you doing, K?
Special K, yeah, I'm alright, I'm really good. Raring to go.
You've been looking forward to this fight for some time. I've known you for a while, and we've been talking about Southern Area fights. Other people have been ahead of you in the pecking order.
Yep.
Rakeem fought Sohail Ahmed, won the Southern Area title,
yep.
And now he's given you a shot, or you've got a shot.
Yep.
How are you feeling about this fight?
Ecstatic, excited, ready and raring to go. It's been like 2 years in the making. Obviously, like most people know, I was supposed to fight for it before, but I couldn't get an opponent. So then Sohail and Rakeem stepped in ahead of me. Deservedly so, Rakeem won the fight. I didn't think he was going to win the fight, like he knows. I did think Sohail was going to win the fight, but he stepped up and done the job. And now it's my turn to really just to state what I claim, really. I feel it's my belt, and I feel like I put the work in, I deserve it now.
Now, I see you've been sparring. You've got a good stable around you with Terry, the Torturer Steward.
Yeah, definitely Torturer.
And who have you been sparring in your camp?
I've been sparring Louis Adolphi, Linus, Adolphia, Brad Pauls, Sean Robinson. I've been sparring Luke Robinson, Reece Bellotti. I haven't done a match with him, boys, but I've been having some tough sparring with guys that are heavier and lighter than me. I've been doing consecutive rounds with different people coming in all the time, so I'm just feeling rare and ready to go. I'm in the best shape of my life, so I think I'm very confident I'm going to get the win.
How do you see the fight going, fight night?
Well, I've got total respect for Rakeem. Everyone knows he's a fit kid. He's going to be there. He's going to be thereabouts until I think I land my shots, and I think it's either going to be a case of that I wear him down and I stop him mid-rounds, or I think if he's tough as he looks, then I think I just win convincingly on points. But you know what? I've got all respect for him, and I'm just going to go out and try and win every round. And I just feel if I land my shots, I'll stop him. But if he's got the tight and he's got his defence on, then I'll just go on. I'll just win the rounds and I'll win it on points. Now, you fought at York Hall before. You fought at bigger venues like the O2 on the David Hay undercard. How was that experience? It was a great experience. It was massive for me. Just to see how things look on maybe the other side of them big shows. And just the adrenaline that you have to deal with, and just the fact that all the preparation. And you know what, when you're in that kind of stage, you just want to perform. But you know what I mean, it's that case of trying to overperform that I think can be the downfall of people. Trying to overperform, trying to do things that they're not used to doing. So, and that's what I was like maybe in some of my pre-fights. I think now that I've experienced that, I'm just going to go now. I'm just going to do my thing. I don't need to try and overshine. I'm just going to do my thing and just get the job done. What's going to happen come the 30th of October? Where's that belt going to be? It's going to be round my waist. It's going to be going back to Luton Town. Big up to all my people in Luton and the surrounding area. And Buckhurst Hill where we're at, TKO. Yeah, this gym deserves its champion. We put in so much good work. And shout out to all my fans and all the people that supported me. Now, people that want to follow you on Twitter, on Insta, what are your handles? Yeah, it's all under K_Prosper1. Find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Yeah, I'm out there being disrespectful to people. I'm just out there just trying to show people what I'm about and just trying to take us to that next level. And all your support is always appreciated. Okay, thank you very much. I hope all goes well for fight night. Yes, we got to Pep Talk and doing great stuff. Let's get it. Lovely. Cheers, buddy. Cheers.
Rakeem Noble also spoke to Shaz about his upcoming title defence.
Pep Talk UK are joined by the present Southern Area champ, Rakeem Noble. How you doing, Rakeem?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you doing yourself?
I'm very well, Rakeem. It's always good seeing you. Now, you've got a title fight coming up. You ready?
Am I ready? Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. We've got 2 weeks to go to the day. 2 Saturdays from now, I'll be getting my gloves on. I'll get my boots laced up, ready to jump in that ring. And yeah, I can't wait for it. It's all going to plan right about now.
Now, you're up against K Prosper. Have you seen K in action, or does he not worry you at all?
I'm not going to sit here and underestimate any opponent of any calibre or level. I've seen K box before, and like all opponents, I will be bringing my A game. I'll be fully preparing. I'll be watching what I need to watch out for, and doing all the correct things to make sure it goes down well on the night.
Now, I was at your last fight when you fought Sohail Ahmed. That was probably one of the fights of the year. What are your recollections of that fight?
It was explosive fights. There was about 6 knockdowns between us, non-stop action from start to end. Who knows how many power punches? It was one for the fans, definitely one for the fans to remember for York Hall. I don't want to be taking any knockdowns in this fight. I don't want to be making it that exciting for my downfall. But it will be a good fight, no doubt, because me and Kay were both good, pure athletes. We both train hard. We've both been looking forward to this fight for a while now. We both had a decent time to train, so we're all going to put our all in it. And we're both at a crossroads situation where we both want to step up to above Southern Area level. So the winner of this fight will open up many doorways and pathways to bigger things. So, it's one of those fights early in the career that one of us have to seize the moment.
Now, I've been at Miguel's. I've seen you doing the technical stuff. I also know you're working with a monster maker called Noel Cullen. What's he bring to your game?
What's he bring to my game? Well, the technical side of Miguel's, they're all about the technical side. So Noel, what he brings is he brings a bit more conditioning, a bit more strength, a bit more durability. So I can box, I can pick my shots, I can jab, move, stick them and all of that. What Noel helps me do is he'll just help me go out for the longer of the 10 rounds. So rather than being an explosive 4-round fighter, he's working on me being an explosive 8-round fighter, up to 10-round fighter, which we're working on. So this Southern Area fight, which is 10 rounds long, we'll be going the whole distance, looking as good as we did in the first, same way in the 9th and the 10th.
I like K Prosper. I like you, Rakeem. So all I'm going to say, and from the whole of Pep Talk UK, is may the best man win. Good luck to the pair of you.
Thanks. Yeah, I like K too. He's a cool guy. I've got nothing against him. This whole build-up's been 100% respectful. Like, he's not disrespecting me, I'm not disrespecting him. There's been no trash talk. We don't need to. I think fighters at our level, we don't need to say anything about each other. Our reservoir speaks for themselves. The hype around us speaks for ourselves. We're 2 top fighters that everyone's been interested in seeing, and now we're getting in the ring together. It sells itself. So may the best man win of the day, because I'm putting it all in.
For fans that don't know who you are or haven't followed you on Twitter and Instagram, what are your handles so people can give you a follow?
My Twitter. Do you know what? Let's start with Facebook. Rakeem Noble. RAKEEM NOBLE. Twitter, Rakeem the Noble 1 as the number 1. And my Instagram is RKM2Noble. But to be honest, just follow me on Facebook, pick me up on that, and I'll give you the rest of my social media contact links.
Well, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure interviewing you, Rakeem, and on top of which, interviewing a Southern Area belt holder. Best of luck for fight night.
I just want to add the remark, on the 30th of October, I will have that belt still. And
fight talk.
And still. Thank you very much for your time.
Right, guys, now it's football time. Good old footy. Right, City have just played Barcelona and they've been murked. They've been totally trounced. Messi hat-trick, 4-0. Terry, now Man City has spent a lot of money over the years. Do you think they're developing like they should have as a team?
I think Guardiola's realised it's not going to be as easy as it looked in August, September time. English football's real. It's not like Spain where you can rotate your squad or you can go light in some games, man. The Premiership, you got to play at 100% even to beat teams like Burnley because, there are a lot of upsets in the Premiership and Guardiola's realising this. I think he's going to have the same problem Pochettino had, where Pochettino, when he first came to England, underestimated how tough the league was. But you saw last year with Tottenham, he had learnt a little bit more, and I expect Guardiola's second season to be stronger than his first. One of the things I did want to say is Lionel Messi is some player, isn't he? The greatest compliment I can pay that guy is this: if you go on Football Manager and you go on the editor and you max out all the attributes, he still won't score as many goals in that game as he does in real life. Like Messi is like a 25 out of 20 player on Football Manager. He's absolutely incredible, man, and he keeps doing it year after year.
Yeah.
And it goes to show how much Messi gets Barcelona out of trouble because Guardiola doesn't have a Messi now. And look at how he looks human again.
Yeah, but Guardiola does that though, doesn't he? I don't know. I don't know. I think, with Guardiola, not taking too much away from the man, I think he goes to certain clubs when they're at certain points, you know what I mean, when they're at some of their highest with some of their strongest teams, and it just makes him look better. I personally don't think he does too much, you know what I mean, with regards to, you know, most top class managers. I don't think he does that much for the team, personally. That's just what I think.
No, I fully agree. I always think good managers can do it anywhere, and we haven't seen Guardiola do it with a team like, let's say, Everton. Like, you look at Ronald Koeman. Koeman's gone to Everton, and he's making a difference. If he can get Everton in the top 4 consistently, you know, then he can be looking for bigger clubs like Barcelona, but he would have done it the hard way. I think Guardiola's done it the easy way.
Seems like some people didn't like that.
Yeah, so Linus, in terms of Barcelona, do you think they're going to be favourites to win the Champions League?
Well, yeah, you know, of course. I think, you know what I mean, they're right up there. They're always up there. I think, you know what I mean, they're definitely one of the favourites. And, you know, with doing that to a team like Man City, you know what I mean, you've got to be one of the favourites, you know.
But what about...
Personally, go on, sorry?
But what about Southampton, though?
Southampton? Oh, no. We're not, unfortunately, we're not in there. Unfortunately, we're in Europa. But,
well,
you know,
one day, mate.
Yeah, one day. But no, what your man was saying about Koeman, you know, with him, I'd single-handedly say he's the one man that got Southampton to where they are and got them in, you know what I mean, in the front line like he did, and got all the players to come to the club. And I said to one of my friends before he left that if he leaves, some of our biggest players will go. And as soon as he went to Everton, our biggest players went to Liverpool and Tottenham and everyone else. And then he strengthened Everton like you wouldn't believe. And I was just, you know what I mean? He's a fantastic manager, and it's a really big, it's a big wound that Southampton have to, you know, kind of just steadily come back from.
Well, what about Arsenal, Pascal? 6-0 smackdown of Lucaretz. Ozil hat-trick. Tell me. Like, let's talk about this.
It's super fantastic. You know, Frankie B, you know, it's been a very long time since Arsenal has scored 6 goals. So, you know, it's very good for the morale of the team. You know, to know that, you know, last week, you know, Arsenal were, 10 men down against a very good Swansea team, very well organized Swansea team. They managed to get through quite well. And now we've got, Arsenal winning again at home. You know, 6-0 against Ludogorets. I mean, Ludogorets are not the best European team, but it's still very good for the players, very good for the morale of the team. You know, Theo Walcott is now becoming a regular goal scorer. You know, Ozil, I think it's time for the Arsenal board to give him a new contract, you know. He's just become a fundamental part of the team. And he's just going to show that the team now has got the balance that a lot of Arsenal fans were seeking, you know. And you know, I'm quite positive about this Arsenal side. You know, they are playing like a team that's going to win the trophy. You know, I believe there's a trophy in there somewhere. Which trophy? I do not know which one, but there's definitely a trophy. I think for us, you know, it would be good to have the Champions League. You know, it's a trophy that we've coveted for a very, very, very long time. For Arsenal, 20th year at the club, I think this would be fitting for him to challenge the rest of the team in Europe for the most coveted, trophy in football after the World Cup.
Mike H, let's talk Spurs. You drew 0-0 with Leverkusen. You guys are kind of firing blanks at the moment. Are you missing Harry Kane?
Yeah. Anyone would be missing Harry Kane. I don't think we're doing too bad. We're still the only unbeaten team in the Premier League. Games like the one we had against West Brom, they happen, don't they? I think we had something like 20 shots. Ben Foster was on fire. It happens. I mean, the group that we're in the Champions League is fairly tight. We've taken 4 points from 2 away games, which is not bad by anyone's standards. It's also played by there's 2 points separating the 4 teams in our group. So we're still hopeful, Frankie.
Ultimately, what can Spurs achieve in the Champions League?
Who knows? Let's get through the group. We want to get through the group, and then whatever happens. I mean, as Arsenal know, you want to finish top of your group. You don't want to be finishing runners up, because then you got to play the big boys. Frankie, once you get to the knockouts, you know how it is. Anything can happen. It much depends on draw. I think the real thought for me is what happens once we get into the new year. If we're still in the Champions League and we're still in domestic competitions, are we going to be a bit stretched? Because we've lost Alderweireld now as well, even for a short time. Kane's out. How is the squad going to deal with challenging on 2, 3, 4 fronts? We'll find out in the new year. The good thing for Harry Kane is that the talk is that he'll be back for the North London derby. So the question I have for you is, does that make you worried?
Not at the moment. Like, we're firing, mate. We're banging in goals like nothing. So with your defenders out at the moment, you need to worry about our attack, because Sanchez, Walcott, Ozil, like
Giroud.
Yeah, Giroud's going to come back fresh. He's going to come back fresh and banging some goals. So as an Arsenal fan, I'm very, very excited. I think we're going to do big things at the moment. There's only one Arsene Wenger.
No, I'm scared, actually. I'm very, very scared.
What are you scared of?
The way Ozil's playing, man. Like, I hate it when this happens, where Ozil will be on fire. Once he gets to double figures in goals and contrast situations are unresolved, man, I expect Madrid to come sniffing around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you know what?
Yeah.
We kind of loaned him to you. We need him back now.
But remember, these guys are taking a hit. Ozil's taking a hit on his earnings because of the drop in sterling.
Yeah. Pascal, let's talk about Celtic. They've lost again 2-0 to Borussia Mönchengladbach. Is it curtains for them now?
No. Are you surprised? The Brendan Rodgers, ex-Liverpool manager, I wasn't surprised at all, but Celtic, let's be honest, they never were really going to be challenging for the European Cup. Some teams are there to make the numbers, and, no disrespect to Celtic, but they just didn't have the European experience to challenge and to get out of the group, and Brendan Rodgers, unfortunately, doesn't have the experience in Europe to deal with the type of teams. I expected, Celtic to put on a bit of a performance, at the end of the day, it was a home game for Celtic, so in front of the home crowd, you have to play better football, and for them to be losing like this to a German team, the Germans are always very well organized football-wise, and you needed to have some better tactics from Brendan Rodgers, and it looked like his curtains, for Celtic. They will. I'm not even sure that they even be in the UEFA Cup at this rate. So
basically, it's au revoir to Celtic.
It's au revoir Celtic, of course. Oui.
You see that? I'm improving my French. I told you, mate.
I'm very, very pleased. You should keep practicing. Frankie.
I say au revoir, you say call blimey, mate.
I will try call blimey. Well.
Brilliant. Okay, we're going to focus on the Premiership. Monday saw Red Monday. Liverpool played Manchester United at Anfield. The match was a yawn fest, 0-0. Mike H, how do you think the game went?
This is classic Mourinho, isn't it? It's a sign to me that he recognises that his team isn't up to the level to be challenging with the top team in the league. We remember from his time at Chelsea, this is what Mourinho does. He will go away to his biggest competitors, get a draw, park the bus, and then aim to beat them in a return leg at home. And then over the course of the season, if you get 4 points out of those 2 legs, you end up winning the league. So not surprising. United have got a way to go, but whereas we were talking about them as possible title contenders, a month ago, 6 weeks ago, we were like almost a quarter of the way through the season, and we're not talking about them as title contenders anymore. Do you see any chance that United are going to win this league? Because I don't.
I think it's early days, but for me, I call Man United Chelsea now. Mourinho Chelsea, because Chelsea used to park the bus, now Man United are parking the bus. There was 6 defenders in front of the goal on Monday. Terrible. Pascal, Pogba, he's struggling, mate. Your compatriot. What's going on?
Frankie B, I've been telling everybody that the move for Paul Pogba to return to Manchester United was the worst move for his career, and Pogba has not made the impact that everybody expected him to make, and that is because, in my opinion, Paul Pogba should be given more freedom. He's an attacking midfielder. Mourinho has claimed that he's giving him the freedom to express himself, but the trouble is he's not finding the gears, he's not finding the rhythm. He's trying to impress, Ibrahimovic a bit too much, and he's putting too much pressure on himself because of the price tag. For me, he should have stayed at Juventus. Juventus yesterday played a very good game. They're not missing him. But for Paul Pogba, it was a bit of a premature decision for him to come back. And he has yet to make the impact of an 89 million player. And I'm just worried that he will end up becoming, as I said before, the Jonabi Mikel of Manchester United. It's not surprising. Mourinho, his golden era has gone. He's beginning to show cracks in his approach to football. In my opinion, he's very anti-football. I mean, this game is a very big game across the world. You have people from China, people in Africa, people in America, people in Australia, watching this game. And then we had to watch a very, very boring game of football. 6 defenders. I mean, it is a better defense than Floyd Mayweather's. It is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like this in football. And to me, it shows that Manchester United are no longer they've lost a bit of self-confidence, because if you remember under Ferguson, there was no way that Ferguson would be playing 6 players at the back. For him, it's a game that he looks at in a calendar in each season, saying that he wants to impose himself as the best team in the northeast, but also in Britain. And there was no way that Ferguson would have approached the game the way that Mourinho is approaching the game. And it's very interesting to see that Manchester United fans, who claim that they were getting the special one, are now also growing a bit frustrating with the approach that Mourinho is bringing to the club.
You know what, I second that, Pascal. I think you hit the nail on the head. This is exactly what Man United fans asked for, Mourinho. But in his defence, it is still early there. He can still turn it around. Mm-hmm. As long as he gets top 4, he's done the job, hasn't he? But I agree with you. They were begging for Mourinho to come to United, and now they got him.
So Terry, I know you're an Arsenal man. Do you think Mourinho's kind of like the modern day version of George Graham?
No, I think Mourinho is like the football version of Adam Booth. So I'll give him credit for one thing. He changed the way we talk about football. He changed the way we as fans think about football. So you got to respect him for that. But I think football's moved away from Mourinho. So if you go back to when he was around, your football was very slow paced, and it was more sitting back countering, and Mourinho could set teams up to nullify. Now you've got these guys with the high press, your Klopps, your Guardiolas, your Pochettinos with the high press, not giving a team space. And I think Mourinho's figured out how to dominate that sort of style. I don't think he's helped at United because it's not really a Mourinho style team, if that makes sense. So he hasn't got a Drogba type player up front, which he'd love. Ibrahimovic, for all of his skill, is never a Drogba. If he could get hold of, and I know it probably won't happen, but a Lukaku type player, I think he'd play a completely different style of football.
Or even Bobby Zamora, maybe?
Yeah. Why not? I'm sure Heskey's running around doing something somewhere. But in response to the Pogba problem, Pogba looks good when he has someone next to him telling him what to do. So I don't understand why they let Schweinsteiger sit in the reserves when he is the perfect player to say to Pogba, push forward, drop back. And when someone does that for Pogba, he looks world class. When he has to make decisions for himself, distinctly average.
Well, Man City dropped points again. Linus, they aren't nailed on us before.
Oh, 100%. Guardiola, like I said, I think he goes to certain teams like, Bayern Munich, Barcelona. He goes to certain teams when they're at, quite a good point, got a good, got a great team, got a lot of money to spend around and stuff like that. And, I think he came to Man City, it's going to be hard. It's the best league in the world. He was going to be hard. But, he's, he's getting kind of, at the start of the season, when I watched Man City, I thought, wow, this is actually a really different team.
Yeah.
And then I realised, they've still got a lot of problems. Mm-hmm. They've got a lot of problems, they've got a lot of problems in the back. They haven't really brought anyone to make that back a little bit stronger. They got rid of Joe Hart, but, but they still, he wasn't, you say what you want. He wasn't all the problem. You know, he was one of them, but they still need to get that back line sorted out. You know, they still need to get a good centre back. They need to get another better, faster company, and I know they have the money for it. And it's just like, I'm not. You know what I mean? If I was a Man City fan, I'd be pretty upset. But you know, right now, it's you know, he's got a lot more cut out than he had at Munich or Barcelona. So you know, he's got to impress a lot more than he has.
Yeah, definitely. Now Arsenal are sitting pretty joint top of the Premiership with Man City. Once again, thanks to Theo Pascal. Is it going to be our year? Are we going to do it?
Frankie B, I would sure hope so. You know, we are playing some very, very good football, and you know, I think it's because Wenger, after 20 years of serving the club, I think wants to give something back to the fans. You know, it's been a very frustrating last few years for Arsenal. Because they are supposed to be winning titles. Not supposed to be runners up all the time, but let's just say that the beginning of the season has been very good. They've been playing some very good football. Despite the defeat to Liverpool at the first game, they've steadily got back onto the Arsenal type of football that we expect, and they are showing some resilience. As I said before, there's a bit of balance now in the midfield, There's Xhaka, there's Coquelin, there is Elneny, there's Ozil, who's becoming a superb player. He's becoming better and better. I mean, the statistics are very, very impressive. And I've seconded what Terry said earlier on. You should be very concerned that Real Madrid will not come back, or even Barcelona may well decide to come back for him. There's opportunities there for the big clubs in Europe to start capitalizing and to disturb Arsenal. Ozil is a fantastic player in his prime, in his actual prime. And, this is season that maybe we see the £42 million that he invested becoming, much more fruitful. But the problem we've had with Arsenal is when players become very good and very settled, they tend to go. So Arsenal may well need to break the bank and to keep the likes of Ozil and Sanchez, and Walcott as well is playing very good, very, very much improved footballer from last season. And I think that break, and him not going to the Euros has done him some very, very good, it's very good to his football. I mean, I'm very pleased with the way that the team is. Ospina tonight also made some very good saves. So there's now competition within the squad. And Arsenal are very much a team to watch out for, this season. Very much.
They certainly are. They certainly are. Now, Mike H, as we predicted last week, Chadley was going to score against Spurs, and West Brom almost stole the points, but for Dele Alli. Bet you was shouting, Ali Boumbaye, Ali Boumbaye.
Right, I was very happy when he scored it. Disappointed not to get 3 points. But it's going to be tight when you're playing Tony Pulis's West Brom, and it wasn't even tight. Like we had loads of chances, but there was a time when a Spurs team playing away, going 1-0 down in the last 10 minutes, would have crumbled. This team managed to get a point, so there's positives to be drawn from it. We've got Bournemouth coming up. That'll be a difficult one. It'll be difficult, but it's going to be a long, hard season. This. There's a lot of good teams. Everyone's taking points of each other.
Mike H, I'm not going to laugh, but do you honestly think Spurs can be the new Invincibles?
I don't know why it's laughable that Spurs are going to do well, but not that Arsenal are going to do well. No, man, look, it's very difficult to go a whole season unbeaten, especially with so many big, strong teams about. When Arsenal had the Invincible teams, they had some very special players, and arguably there wasn't as much competition in the league as there is now. There are a lot of good teams, but we'll take top 4. You can only have one team winning the title, but we'll take top 4, as would the rest of the Premier League. Someone's missing out. City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs, United, Chelsea, Everton. That's 7 teams there. Right, we might as well include the champions. That's 8 teams. Only 4 of them can get the Champions League. Someone's missing out.
Leicester been shocking, yeah.
They have been. Someone's missing out. Who's going to miss out on Champions League? Because, Spurs are looking good for me so far. They're not perfect, but there isn't a perfect team. That defence is solid, and that's going to help. We have the best defence in the Premier League, so you can suck on that, Frankie.
Hey, can I get it? Ali Bombaye.
Ali Bombaye, man. But we need. We could do Janssen scoring. That would help. That would be a big help.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be. Now to the bottom. Let's focus on the bottom for a change. Now Sunderland are yet again still winless. Terry, do Sunderland need to sack the manager to start winning? Basically.
You know what? If I was Sunderland, this is what I'd say.
No long thing. Yeah.
Nah, real talk, man. I'd back Moyes and I'd say, listen, take this club down and let's get rid of all of these guys. Because if you look at that Sunderland wage bill, man, they're paying guys like John O'Shea 80 grand a week. What does John O'Shea do?
Way.
It's between 60 and 80. Something stupid like that.
This is
why they can't shift. That's why they can't shift their players. Because they're all on good wages and they're saying to themselves, I've got a 4-year contract on 60 to 80k a week, why am I going to leave? So what if we get relegated? You know what I mean? There's no, I still get the same pay and it's an easier ride for me. So it's a club that's rotten from top to bottom. Their biggest mistake was not backing Roy Keane when they had him. He even sorted this mess out.
Linus, what do you think of Sunderland? Are they going to get out of this precarious position?
Nah, not this time. I say this is their time, man. They're on their way out. But I say that, and then when Southampton face them, we're gonna mess them out and lose to them. So, you know what I mean? I really don't want to sound like that, but right now our team is just about getting grips and stuff. But we're still up there, so it don't matter.
Yeah, let's talk about
right now. Yeah,
let's talk about Southampton. What are you guys going to achieve this season?
Well, you know, obviously, it's all you know what football's like. You know how the league work out. If we get Champions League, if we get that, because I can't really say, oh, you're not going to do a Leicester, because no one thought Leicester were going to do a Leicester. So, if we get Champions League, all the money comes in, all the sponsorships come in, all the TV deals come in. We get that money, we can buy some players. We can buy some decent players, keep a hold of them, and then keep going for there, build for next season, and then try to get Champions League again, or keep challenging, start becoming a top 4 team. But right now we're doing well on staying in the top half of the Premier League. So I'm more or less happy with that. But it really kind of hit the club when the manager left.
Well, we'll see what happens during the course of the season. Well, that's our time. I'd like to thank Pascal. I'd like to thank Terry. I'd like to thank Mike H. I'd like to thank Linus. Join us again next week for another Pep Talk UK podcast. Thank you.
Au revoir.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, guys. Nice one.
Pep Talk UK.
Please follow us on social media. On Twitter, it's at Pep Talk _UK. And Instagram, it's Pep Talk _UK.